Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the incomplete guide to Starsector. Where, as you can see, we have made it home after our rather lucrative bounty, double bounty, that netted us about 700,000 credits in one fell swoop, well, 1.15 fell swoops, and that feels pretty good. Now, we are home because I wanted to drop off our ships and do a bit of refitting on a couple of them, and I just want to show you what we have going on here. And that is, let's see, go to the fleet, go to the take menu. So I brought home the Dominator, I brought home the Apogee, and I brought home the Hyperion, and I'm going to leave them here for, well, a couple reasons. One is that they are going to be expensive to drag around with us. This one has increased maintenance. This one is just expensive. And this one has a feature called high maintenance, where it doubles its maintenance cost per month. So it is a frigate with a maintenance cost per month of 30, which is pretty nutty, in my opinion. So the best thing you can do for these guys is, if you're dragging them around with you and you're not using them, is definitely throw on some efficiency overhaul to bring it down to 24. Or 24, of course. Now these guys are rather special frigates in that they have a teleportation ability where they can literally just boop and teleport to where you're pointing your mouse within a certain limit. And it is absolutely nutty. They also have great flux dissipation at base, and they have two medium and one universal, sorry, two medium energy and one universal slot, all of them being medium. And so this thing, you can teleport behind an enemy and just shoot whatever you want right in their butt, and they can't do much about it. So very cool. They also are kind of low on peak performance time. Their normal maximum is 120. So yes, these do not last very long in combat at all. So if you're using them, well, you probably know what you're doing if you're using one. The Apogee I kind of built for general purpose stuff. I wanted to try out the antimatter SRM launcher, and since I was kind of low on other OP to put anywhere else, I just dropped in the Pelum here. But up front we have separately grouped weapons that are all on auto fire, so they'll only fire when they're within range and individually. And we have the high intensity laser, which is a great way of chewing through armor at 500 damage a second, which is basically 1,000 damage a second to armor. And then of course the classic ion pulsar, and then for when we get up close, the antimatter blaster. So yeah, pretty neat little ship, well, big ship. And then lastly we have the Dominator, which I have arranged or outfitted in weapons that are pretty good for dealing with the mysterious manta ray ship that we encountered 2 episodes ago. I think it was 2. Last episode. One of the episodes. And what we have here is a lot of point defense. We have Devastators, point defense. We have Vulcans, point defense. Dual flat cannons, point defense. In fact, the only offensive weapons we have are these proximity charge launchers set to alternating fire, so they'll go plu 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 plu. We also have automated repair unit to bring our weapons and engines back online faster if they are brought down. We have resistant flux conduits to reduce the incoming ion damage by 50% and to increase our venting rate. Solar shielding drops our energy damage taken by 10%. We have, of course, hardened shields and integrated targeting unit. And this is a ship that I have seen someone actually defeat the Manta, the Ziggurat, with a single one of these. We're probably going to need 2 or 3, because I don't really plan on doing a complete skill respec to handle it. I might just do a few skills, namely point defense and a couple other odds and ends here. So that is that. We're going to leave this here for now. In this episode, we're going to do some other prep work that you might want to do as well for getting ready to tackle the Ziggurat. And for that, we are going to head over to, I believe, Sindria, after we make sure they're not mad at us. They're suspicious of us, so maybe we can fix that a little bit by taking on a job or killing some pirates there. I don't know. Let's go find out. Okay, here we are in Asconia. Do we have any... We have some missions. I was kind of hoping for a system bounty. I guess not. Well, let's go and say hello. We're going to stop by Cruor. Now, we're going to try here to start a quest line that I think we started a long time ago in the series, where when we first went to a bar in one of the Sindrian Diktat places, there was a ruckus, and there was an officer who commanded the brutal takedown of some protesters, and he kind of glared at us and then left. That's actually kind of the start of this quest line. I don't know if we need to be better liked by the Diktat before we can actually take it or continue it, but let's find out. Okay, so we can't... It's not here. That's fine. We'll buy a few odds and ends. Mostly these odds and those ends. Uh-oh. We're suspicious now. Let's also trade these out of here. Yeah, it fixed it somewhat. It might be on Volturn. I think there are a couple different places where you can encounter the guy. Another officer? No, no thank you. We can get some more stuff printed if we want to. And there are a couple things that I wouldn't mind getting. I might like to get another Dominator that's not, damaged, but I don't know if I want to sink that much money into it right now. So let's just leave for now. Take a quick drive-by of all of the offerings here. See what ships they might have. Now, you might notice, if you've done any fighting with Sindria, that they have a group of ships called the Lion's Guard. And these are unique styled ships that have different stats than their standard counterparts. You will not find these for sale anywhere in Sindria, or anywhere at all, I don't believe. Even the black market, as I'm aware, doesn't have any of these ships, like ever. So if you're looking for them, you have a couple different options for getting them, and they're basically beat up the Sindrian Diktat. That's basically it. There is one ship that you can get on the market, rarely, and that might be... It is not here. Okay. Occasionally, their biggest flagship, for some reason, is available as a banged-up version on the open market, or occasionally as a pristine version on the black market, as well as in the military if you have access to their military market. And that's what we're actually after today, because there is a way, without being super friendly with the Diktat, and also without having to be commissioned with them, to get a hold of this ship. Let's do that. A light expenditure of money. Cough, cough. Black market, anything cool here? No, not really. So let's take a look at the comm directory and dockside bar. Okay, I don't think he's here. So someone who wants to basically scam us. Actually, they have 200 Volturnian lobster for 14,000 credits. That's 70 a pop. That's a pretty good deal, actually. But I don't know if we should take this or not. Yeah, sure, why not? Boop. Join the officer for a word. We could... Let's see, they want us to... bring something offline. Orbital Works at Captain Starworks for 60 days for 90,000 credits and 200 Marines. Yeah, you know what? Let's take it, because I have a feeling that we might need to do a couple missions for them in order to get our reputation high enough that this guy will show up. So let's do a couple of these missions. I'm going to visit Kruer and Voltern again, see if those missions are around, and maybe pick up a couple others. And I'm going to avoid spoilers for this storyline as best I can, so we'll just sort of experience it together. Oh, here we go. I believe this is it. You take a shuttle down to the main concourse, and quickly find a likely-looking establishment. You enter the bar, leaving the noisome propaganda broadcasts of the throughway behind. Off-duty laborers drink away their ration credits dutifully at benches set beneath Diktat insignia. In one corner, a cadre of finely dressed officer bureaucrats calls for another round. Even here, a larger-than-life hollow of the Lion of Sindria looks down on you as you decide what to do. As you start to take in the clientele, the lights flicker. The sundry hollows and screens fuzz and go blank as EM interference scrambles their inputs. With a series of bangs, troopers in light combat frames burst through every entrance, shouting amplified orders, waving vicious little guns. Random insect raid. You know enough to appear calm and keep your hands away from your sidearm. Each patron is scanned, and in turn their fate is revealed by a subtle movement of the lead insect officer signaling whether they are to be left alone or arrested. Most are spared. We'll keep our cool. One group of spacers appears to believe they have something to hide. As the officer approaches, they break into action. One manages to half-draw a concealed weapon, but is hit with a crack of an electro-stun restraint foam round. The convulsing body crashes through a table, sending pieces of broken glass up in glittering parabolae. The rest of the party are restrained and beaten, the drumming of clubs on flesh eventually overtaking the cries of pain and outrage. Outsiders look on in horror. The staff and locals have a glazed, unfocused expression. It is safest to see nothing. You won't look. The Diktat internal security officer walks slowly on a tangent to you, examining each of your bodyguards from their feet to their weapons before shifting his gaze to you. You stare for a moment into dark eyes. He'll say nothing. His eyes narrow and flick down to his scanner. The insect officer gives a small nod to the guards, then moves on with an arbitrary authority to the next spacer captain, who's given a similar treatment. Apparently, this means you're free to go. There will be no more business to be done at this bar for the rest of the shift. Even the corridors outside are strangely quiet, the populace recognizing the tell of a crackdown. Okay. So, looks like we didn't actually trigger that before, but now we have. So, now I think it's kind of a waiting game of maybe visiting again. Nope. Maybe going to Kruer. Let's find out. That's a pretty good deal. Tell you what, we're going to take this because we need some more money. And that guy is still not here, so we're going to leave for now. And we're going to go do our quest. We're going to go drop off these things in Chicomostok. And then we are going to go and bring Captain Starworks' orbital works offline. And then we'll come back and see if the rest of this quest line is ready for us. In we go. And plenty of pirates, apparently. Okay. So we come in, we deliver our stuff, we get paid, and bam. Perfect. There's an admiral offering us something. What does he want? Are you kidding me? Oh. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we're buying that. Thank you, sir. Ooh, a very high military contact. That's not bad. I swear, every time that I think I need a ship, I get one. Suddenly the game is like, hey, have 5 more. So, ooh, these are cheap. These are dirt cheap. So, let's grab a whole bunch of these things. Yeah. Alright. I don't think we need any more ships here today. How about another one? We could. Okay, let's... You know, actually I'm going to, for now, drop the efficiency mod on both of these, just since we're dragging them around. There we go. This will save us a little bit of cash. And depending on how long we're dragging them, maybe a lot of cash. So we'll do that. And now we are off to Captain Starworks. Hello. Hope ready for us. I hope they're not, really. Okay, here we are. We're going to hop in. And for now, we will turn on our transponder, because there could be Persian patrols. And we are enemies with them right now, but the patrols here should be pretty small. You know what? We're actually going to turn that off. And we are going to just risk it. Away we go. Oh, I can hear that wasn't the best idea. And here we are. It's coming right toward us. And here we can do a bit of shopping and such first. So anything interesting going on here? No, not really. And wow. Okay. Maybe we can sell these on the black market for some decent change. And thumpers, yes, goodbye. And then we need to do the thing where we are going to launch a raid, and we are going to disrupt the orbital works. So we have to bring it offline for, I believe, 60 days. Let me just double check that. Let's see, intel. Where was that? Here we go. At least 60 days. Okay. 200 Marines. Alright, let's do it. And we are just going to also... We'll go for 80 days. Just because, in case it's not quite good enough, in case we get like 58 days, I don't want to end up kind of stuck in a weird rut there. So, let's go ahead and we're going to do it. Do I want to make ourselves secret? No, I don't really care. Alright. 90 days. Wow, look at that. Okay. And we got our money. We're still suspicious with them, but that's okay. Alright. Let's see. Where is the nearest... we can hop out there. Sure, why not? And we're going to head back to Asconia and see if our friendly security officer is ready for us. Hello. Oops. Well, it's a dram. Okay, in we go. let's go see if our buddy is ready for us. We do have some more officers to check out. Let's see, and then Norton Tran. No, it's okay. Nothing going on here. Let's try down here on Volturn. Nothing here yet, but there is another quest here. This is another unique quest. We can ask the veteran spacer what he's looking at. Ain't nothing, just reading my mail, he growls back, then laughs and taps his temple. Swear I'll never get proper use of these things. We will offer to apologize for the misunderstanding by buying him a drink. The old space hand opens up as one drink turns 2 or 3. He tells stories of old injuries earned, including that of his lost eyes. Was just 2 survivors from that mission, me and the pilot. Lucky bastards, we two. It all began when he was hired on to a salvage fleet trawling decivilized systems outside the core worlds. The loot was good, and any brigand they couldn't fight, they could flee. Then the officers found something new in a data cache. Rumors flew among the crew, who were told nothing, as the fleet suddenly left a rich asteroid belt to make for the outer system jump point. They fared 2 hyperspace storms before arriving at a distant star system. There they found a planet all shining in red. It weren't anything natural, it was all shapes, angles, glowing like plasma. That's truth, he says quietly. I've seen gates, sure, and orbital works as big as you like. Ain't never seen anything domain made glow like that across a whole planet's face. Not anything that weren't a weapon, I mean. While we were gawking, the prox alarm goes and it's battle stations, he continues. Hostile ships came fast upon the salvage fleet, flitting with agility belying advanced tech. They had equally advanced weapons, too, and with those they attacked with no mercy. They weren't pirates, nor military. Here the spacer loses his cheer at a good story. Blood's hells, I swear to you it weren't anything human. The spacer explains that he and the pilot got away in an escape pod which was only mostly malfunctioning. The miracle wasn't that I fixed it, it's that they could thaw enough of me out at the end of it for me to keep living, if you can call this living. Where was this system? You emphasize your interest in the subject by having the spacer's drink refreshed. He shakes his head. Captain, I wouldn't wish my fate on you or anyone. Besides, I have no idea. A pause, then. Chalk Sato would. That's the pilot, he finally admits. The old spacer tells you that Chalk did not live the experience in such stride as himself, and has taken to drinking themselves senseless in semi-retirement at Captain Starworks. Which I just took offline. Whoopsie. Some folks, I don't think they react well to the emergency cryopods. Like a bit of their brain is still froze up and not gone back. You consider a trip to Captain Starworks to see if you can get the exact location of this mysterious planet with its unknown technology. You also realize that the old spacer has fallen asleep in his seat, cybernetic eyes blanked out in standby mode. Leave him to his rest. So, yes, there is a red planet quest that we can get. We just started here. And if we don't find this guy ready to chat with us on Volturn, we might go and start that quest instead, because there are some interesting things we can get via that quest. And we might sort of turn that into a big exploration loop, because it is likely to take us to a planet or a star system in this sort of ring around the outside of the map. So let's go check out Sindria once more, and then if there's nothing there, we will go and try out this red planet mission, although we might not be able to dock at Captain. So if we can't, then maybe we will just find some more missions to do, make some money, upgrade our colonies. That is something that we need to do here soon. There are some features. Oh, here we go. There are some features that we need to add to our colonies kind of soon. Your fleet approaches Sindria. This world's battered crust of cyclopean debris, crisscrossed by kilometers-deep pits and chasms, is bombarded with intense radiation on the dayside. So habitats and industrial facilities must be built deep beneath the surface. The population of Sindria is concentrated in a handful of hive cities, where living conditions for most are poor and civil law harsh. A desperate underclass lives beneath those who are lucky enough to have found positions in the state bureaucracy and intelligence services. Infrastructure has never kept up with the population crisis of massive refugee immigration during the Asconia crisis, as resources have been concentrated on industry and military power. Your fleet transmits identification codes via the transponder, and you are soon granted docking clearance. Your comms officer calls for your attention. Captain, we have incoming from, an official channel? No ID provided. They forward the link to your personal interface. It's our guy. A Sindrian Diktat officer appears. You first recognize the uniform of the Internal Security Ministry, the secret police. Then, you recognize his face. You were at a spacer bar not too long ago. This officer led a raid, and his security troops beat some jumpy spacers near to death, and arrested others. What game is he playing by contacting you like this? Does he even remember you? He must. Greetings, Captain Corazar, says Captain Ram with detached authority. I've been following your career for some time. You are, quite ideally placed. I need you to help me save the Sindrian Diktat. He produces a painful-looking smile at this, and looks like he expects you to return it. Let's see. Do you remember me? I remember you. I knew who you were before entering that bar, yes, Ram says with a self-satisfied smirk. I am not merely a uniform. I follow orders, yes, but I have been watching the way of things for a long time. I have been speaking with like-minded officers loyal to the Andradan movement, who know the blood and sweat of our struggle. Ram leans in, an odd gleam to his eyes now apparent. It is obvious that Sindrian Diktat has fallen to rot. Do you imagine Andrada is truly in command? With the ministries fallen to self-serving infighting? He would never allow it. Things have changed since the old days. He would sooner die than let his vision come to this degeneracy. Something must be done. He takes a deep breath with closed eyes, then looks on you with renewed vigor. And you. You are an outsider. You are the perfect wedge for my plan to alter the course of history. He holds up a hand to stop your reply. No, not yet. We must speak in the flesh. He taps something, and your comlink receives coordinates, an address on Volturn. There is a safe house under my personal authority. OPSEC will be assured. Captain Ram gives you a quick nod and signs off. Well, that was sudden. He wants to set up some kind of secret meeting. It is unclear whether his actions are legal within Diktat, and unclear what power play between competing ministries this might represent. You would do well to have a hidden weapon, and a holorec rigged to record whatever treason, blackmail, or other scheme Ram might be planning. It would not even be difficult to have a squad of elite Marines ready to move at an invisible signal. You consider your options for this encounter. So, we are going to find some cheap but not particularly useful printing here. So sometimes you'll get the illegal prints, and then other times you'll get legitimate printers, but they give you a much smaller amount to work with, and you often do get to choose from your blueprints or from whatever they might have. Which is kind of goofy, because, like, yes, I could print an Executor, but you don't have the order value available, so what? Kind of weird. But I don't think I really need anything here. Check this out. No, nothing here. Okay. Then let's pop back over to Volturn and go talk to our guy. Hey, no more war with Persians, plural. Let's stop by here, check for officers. I am still looking for a specific set of officers. Ooh, we do have the paper book. So he's got a like a sort of codex on us and our history that we now have access to. Thank you, this is fascinating and not at all alarming. Now what do you have for me? So he has the location of a blueprint for a Doom-class phase cruiser. We have 2 Dooms, and this is not a phase ship run, so we're going to skip for now. I am waiting for a certain couple specific things to pop up. things that are unique and otherwise kind of hard to come by, or in some cases impossible. Anything worth looking at here? Nope. Okay, off to Kruor then. That's south of us. I was going the wrong direction. Not Kruor, full turn. That's what I said the first time. Okay. So here we go. We'll prep a shuttle to Yannick Ram's safe house. Let's see. Let's do... Now, I kind of know what some of the consequences are. If you bring your Marines, you're going to lose full Marines. So, don't recommend. I'm going to bring this... Oh, we get a choice. I forgot about that. Let's do a... matte black polycarbonate pistol. Let's equip a secret holorecorder rig. And then let's board the shuttle. With a flash of the Sindrian Diktat's crest, the shuttle receives navigation instructions from orbital traffic control. The whirls of storms and rivers of clouds hang before you, over the shining Volturnian sea. Closer, you begin to make out the lights of floating habitats, sprawling farm envelopes, and transient mining platforms. The shuttle hits Atmo with barely perceptible change in the craft's harmonics. As the surface grows closer, the glittering lights and reflections of artificial structures resolve into a sprinkling of garbage. Plumes of smoke from processing plants, oil slicks from extraction platforms, a spew of jetsam trailing from the overcrowded habs. The current regime has allowed the industrial conglomerates to self-regulate, provided they are politically reliable. This sounds familiar. Ram's Safe House is a logistics and warehousing complex attached to the spur of one such industrial cluster. The air is thick, with the sweet stench of petrochem. A quick glance at your datapad shows your perspective in perfect miniature. The holorec unit is working perfectly. A plainclothes insect goon, obvious from their demeanor, opens the door, looks you over disapprovingly, and relieves you of your holstered sidearm before leading you down metal stairs to a dark inner room below the street level. I think this is not our secret gun, I think. Yannick Ram sits at a cheap conference table, dismissing the goon with a wave. The door thuds shut behind you, its weight suggesting armor or shielding. Captain, I am so pleased that you have joined me. We have much to discuss, much to do. Ram stands with a chilly smile. Simply put, the plan, and my fellow patriots are in agreement, is to test and provoke the leaders of the Sindrian Diktat's three arms of power. They will either prove their loyalty to the vision of the Supreme Executor, Lion of Sindria, Philip Andrada, or they will show themselves to be corrupt cowards and traitors, who must be executed to ensure the purity of the great cause. First, the Navy. While the Grand Star Marshal is nominally in charge, he lies half-conscious in a clinic in Sindria. The Supreme Executor should have replaced him a cycle ago, but, Ram paused significantly, has not. In his place, Deputy Star Marshal Oksana Hyder commands the Asconia System Defense Armada. She is unimaginative, and I suspect she regrets leaving the hegemony behind during the Battle of Salas. Let's let him talk. With Ram distracted by pacing and ranting, you take a peek at your datapad. The holorec rig reads all green, but the signal seems to be rapidly degrading. There must be some kind of interference. An automated counter-signal unit in the safe house? Will Ram be alerted if you keep transmitting? Let's turn it off and record a hard memory so we don't set off an alert. Next, High Guard Deputy Executor Horatio Caden. By the decree of Diktat, he holds the second-in-command rank to the Supreme Executor, and leads the Lion's Guard, which is sworn to protect the person of Philip Andrada and the integrity of his political and spiritual vision. Ram clenches his jaw, anger now showing through. Caden has clearly failed. He's a dogmatic simpleton, repeating the words of the Lion without feeling them, knowing them. They do not burn in his heart as they do in ours. Captain Ram is almost shouting toward the ceiling, perhaps addressing Caden and the other misguided followers of the Sindrian Diktat. Let's let him keep talking. Why not? There's a muffled thump. Ram's goon dropping something? But the weight of the door suggests it would take a great deal more force to make a sound which could be heard in this room. Which brings me to Chief High Inspector General Dolos Macario, Ram continues, almost spitting, head of the internal security services of which I am, of course, a part. Never was there a more... Ram pauses in his stride, lifting a hand to his ear. He turns to you with a confused look. The door flies open in a flash. The thud of a shockwave buffets you back a half step, ears ringing. Blurred shadows burst in, targeting lasers flickering, firearms covering you and Ram. Through the settling cloud of dust steps a man in a long black coat over a perfect black uniform. Ram gapes, hands raised, now, mercifully, at a loss for words. The pistol in the man's hand barks once. Yannick Ram falls to the ground, dead. Captain Kurazar, says Dolos Macario, head of the Sindrian Diktat Internal Security Ministry, in person. The Spider of Sindria, they call him, who lurks in the lion's shadow and strings up his enemies, extracts their secrets, and makes them suffer before they are disappeared. Macario's weapon is now aimed at you. What an awkward first meeting. He glances down, then looks back up, smiling like a corpse. My humblest apologies. But first, he dips his pistol once toward the floor. Would you be so good? As you hesitate, he says, Your clever little pistol. Drop it. The squad's targeting lasers hold steady on you. Will drop a weapon. He holsters his pistol and, stepping over Ram's cooling body, draws a chair from the table. Let us sit for a moment. All this excitement. I would very much like to have a chat with you. Yeah, sure, we'll sit. Macario gives his shoulders a dismissive little wave. You expect that they'll be at the ready nearby. Soldiers, not shoulders. Captain Ram was a traitor, and has met the end at which all traitors deserve. Macario leans back in the cheap folding chair, looking thoughtful. I am embarrassed to admit that he was also, in the broad strokes, correct in his assessment of current state of our dear Sindrian Diktat. And his plan is a reasonable one. I have decided to enact it, with your cooperation. Let's see. You know what? Why would I ever want to help you? An interesting question, Captain. You are a rising independent power. Such shifts, even small, have a way of upsetting the balance kept so carefully these past cycles. Do you understand how you instill fear into strategic planners? Your motives are erratic. You could do anything. It's perfect. What plan? He was rambling. Macario smiles thinly. The plan is simple enough. In light of the Supreme Executor's upcoming transition, we must root out treason and corruption at the highest level. By which I mean, of course, those arms of the state which project violent force. The Navy, in the person of Oksana Hyder, and the Lions Guard, in the person of Horatio Caden. I, of course, see to the reliability of my own ministry. His eyes flicked to indicate Ram's corpse. Once the means of force are purged of traitors, they shall burn out the rot that has taken root in this great project. The so-called Volturnian resistance and the power and the double blight of Norcia and Umbra in the rebellion. Once our power base in Asconia is consolidated, the Diktat may turn its gaze outward. What do you mean by turn its gaze outward? You didn't get to your position without knowing the meaning of ambition, Captain. Macario pins you with ice-cold eyes. You, of all people, know full well that ambitions will be attacked on all sides by lesser men, whether from brutish ignorance or degenerate ideologies. The sector is in turmoil. Imagine if its might and resources were focused by the vision of a man with ambition. Does Andrada know about this plan? That question is no longer relevant. Macario's look hardens. The question now is of who is prepared to carry on in his name. You can only conclude that there is a power vacuum in the space Andrada should be. There's been no public announcement of death or illness, but the Sindrian Diktat keeps very tight control of its information sphere, and never shows signs of weakness. Are you a man with ambition? Macario, unblinking, looks just a little bit delighted at your question. Someone must be. Philip knew this, in his time. What's in it for me? Influence, credits, advanced spacecraft hulls, experimental weapons. Macario spreads his hands wide, a river of generosity, then takes a moment to whisper into his cuff. That is a taste to ensure that I have your attention for the remainder of our conversation. Within seconds, your personal comms ping a surprised response from your quartermaster. We've gained 40,000 credits and 3 kinetic blasters. These are guns that we have not yet seen. I get it. What do you want done? Hypothetically. You begin to understand, says Macario. Good. I shall provide you with a file. It concerns an officer under Deputy Star Marshal Hyder's command, who she has ordered to meet with a smuggler to purchase armaments. This is, of course, treason. Hyder believes she must circumvent the bureaucracy to maintain the condition of the Defense Armada. She is correct. The Lion's Guard takes the lion's share. He makes a strange, suppressed noise at his own joke. Of the military procurement budget. This provides us an opening. Leverage. Confront this officer. Arrest them. Or kill them if they resist. Even destroy the fleet and keep the smuggled weapons. I don't care. I shall ensure, after the fact, that you are seen as, at worst, performing an accidental service to the Diktat. The purpose of this is to draw out Hyder. I shall ensure that she knows you are behind the interception. She will want to confront and eliminate you herself due to the sensitive nature of the matter. Macario is having fun, you can tell. He lives for this. This is your opening. Explain yourself as acting upon my orders for the Diktat, or representing a weapons supplier seeking to replace her previous contact. I'm sure you'll come up with something good. The point is, you'll have her attention, and you'll have her compromised. Find out her intentions. If she is willing to engage in open treason, or, if pushed, will she side with myself, the legitimate authority in the upcoming struggle? Her rivalry with Caden and the Lion's Guard is well known, so that may be a good axis upon which to turn her. Why don't I just talk to her? You are welcome to try, Macario says smugly. Without an opening, however, you'll get nothing. I know how she works. How would killing her subordinate possibly make her trust me? You don't know her like I do, Captain. She is a capable admiral, a brilliant logistician, and a dreadful politician. She loathes contradiction, inefficiency, and above all, lies. When she must participate in such squalid affairs, she'll be put off balance and seek stability. Provide it. He looks pleased with himself. It is trivial to manipulate her. I trust, with my help, you are capable of it. If she is engaging in treason, technically, why not eliminate her now? And throw the Sindrian Diktat into civil war? With her in command of the System Defense Armada? Macario rolls his eyes. Listen to yourself. Timing, he hisses. The time must be correct. I'll see what I can do. Stepping back onto what passes for a street, you look up at one of the ubiquitous, flickering hollows of Philip Andrada, Supreme Executor of the Sindrian Diktat. You try to imagine the Lion of Sindria drooling and mindless, deep in some bunker clinic, surrounded by increasingly panicked doctors. Macario seems like a man who turns his capable subordinates into tools and his ambitious subordinates into corpses. But if you play along, for now, he readily provides generous rewards, and access to the heart of the Sindrian Diktat's upcoming power struggle. An idle thought prompts you to check the Holorex memory. It's been remote hacked. Your feed has been replaced by an old Andrada propaganda experience. Macario's little joke, you suppose. So, this is the start of a quest line similar to the Galatia Academy. It's not quite as long, actually it's nowhere near as long, and it'll keep us basically in the Sindrian system. But here we have the new weapons he gave us, and we got 3 of them. And if we ever want more, we basically have to go and smash some Sindrian ships to smithereens, specifically Lion's Guard ships. But they are unique in that they are a kinetic weapon, but they are energy kinetics. They're not terribly flux efficient at 1.5 flux per point of damage, but they do deal 500 damage a second against shields. And again, since they're energy, they can go in slots that don't really usually have access to good kinetic output. Anyway, everyone, I think we're going to pause this saga there. We've been reading a lot today. And we are going to pick up next time as we chase down that little yellow exclamation point that disappeared. And we will continue this storyline. Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, my name has been Kurazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.